UFC 322 was, on paper, a massive coronation. Islam moving up, snatching his second belt, GOAT conversations waiting to happen. So why am I disappointed? Don't get me wrong, history did happen. We watched Islam Makhachev bully around another victim and collect yet another belt like he's grocery shopping or something. But if I'm being honest, that main event was kind of boring. The co-main with Valentina and Zhang, extremely one-sided. But maybe this is just what it feels like to witness domination.
You know, not the most exciting title fight you'll ever see, but let me tell you what, complete dominance. Depending on what we do next with him and what's going on, this guy's headed toward GOAT talk.
Meanwhile, earlier in the night, absolute chaos. Back-to-back knockouts, chins cracking, careers potentially ending. The prelims felt like they had more voltage than the championship fights. But that's exactly why we need to break this down, because buried in the boring parts, there's still a lot that just shifted. Rankings, futures, reputation, all of it just got scrambled. So let's rewind this whole night and figure out what actually mattered at UFC 322.
Thank you to the fighting business, absolutely amazing.
One of my favorite new channels going right now.
Beneil Dariush versus Benoît Saint-Denis. Let's start with Beneil Dariush, because honestly, we need to have a tough conversation here. Before I do though, I gotta let you know, Yibuku just came out with some heat. They came out with a Makhachev double champ design already, and a bunch more. They even got a gold edition set, and all of it is on sale for 50% off on their websites. You can even use my code TFB for an extra 5% at checkout, or check the link in the description. For Beneil though, this wasn't just a loss. This was a career eulogy disguised as a fight. BSD came out and just erased him. One punched in the middle of the chaos. That's all it took. And look, let's be real for a second here. Dariush has been a killer for years. You see, the guy's a problem on the ground, solid everywhere, been knocking on the door of a title shot forever, but that chin, it's gone. Like physically relocated to another dimension. Watching that knockout, you realize it's not even about BSD being some superhuman power puncher. It's about Dariush's body just giving up on him. The lights look like it went out before he even hit the canvas. And that's the scary part, because at this level, once your chin cracks, it doesn't come back. It's not like cardio where you can train it back. It's over. You become a ticking time bomb every time you step in there.
Told ya. What did I say? So Dariush comes out and tries to have a striking battle with him, or he's gonna get bingo because that BSD can bang. That could be Dariush's last ever fight, lad.
And now, the sad reality is Dariush is probably done at the top level. It's brutal to say, but this sport doesn't care about your feelings. Your body tells the truth whether you want it or not. Because this version we just saw can't hang anymore. Not with these level of fighters. Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. This one hurts to watch if you're a Leon fan. Crazy how the fighting game always finds a way to connect on itself. I mean, listen, this is MMA and knockout happens, but oftentimes the story just seems too poetic, like the whole storyline was written in advance. Rocky didn't even start the fight that poorly. He wanted to grapple early and had some decent control time, but as soon as he tried to exchange with Prates, the worst happened.
The most entertaining guy of the welterweight division. I talk with Dana. Where's my title shot? You know, of course, you know, we have the rank. I know I have some guys front of me on the rank, but it's business, you know, it's entertainment. Like I said, I bring the kind of entertainment people like to see. 30 minutes, go back to the octagon and face off the champ.
Listen, Prates is dangerous, super dangerous. On the feet, he's a problem for anybody. Power is legit, but here's the thing nobody's talking about. He's got a ceiling. And that ceiling is shaped someone like Islam Makhachev, because all that knockout power means nothing when you're on your back and can't get back up. Simply put, grapplers are his kryptonite. The moment someone shoots on him and actually knows what they're doing, that's a wrap.
Nobody check the grappling.
I remember watching the pound-for-pound fighter at the time get knocked out cold in the last minute of a fight he was dominating. I remember Rocky looking straight into the camera and screaming, "Man, this feels like yesterday." Truth is, that version of Leon feels like it's in the rearview mirror now. He looked slow, hesitant, like he was fighting scared. And in this sport, once you start looking like that, the sharp circles fast. Everyone's gonna want a piece of him now, thinking he's washed. Whether he is or not, the perception is there. And perception in the UFC might as well be reality. Leon's gotta figure out real quick if he's got another run in him, or if UFC 322 was the beginning of the end. Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. Sean Brady versus Michael Morales was pure chaos, and honestly, kind of hilarious if you take a step back. Brady came in as this technical grappler, supposedly the next guy in line, had the blueprint, had the plan. Then Morales said, nah, and just started swinging like he was in a parking lot. No setup, no strategy, just raw violence. And it worked. Brady got cracked, hit the deck, and his entire title path just evaporated in an instant. But let's be real, Brady's knockout resistance is questionable. We saw it. Bilal saw it, Morales saw it, and now the entire welterweight division saw it. And in the UFC, once that gets exposed, you're cooked. Everyone's gonna pressure him now, knowing one good shot might end the night early. All that grappling skill, all that technique, it means nothing if you can't take a punch, and Brady somehow can't.
Tenía un plan, yo tenía el mío y pues todo salió pues como yo lo quería.
I hit him hard. That's what happened. I hit him hard from the start. And everybody, they always have a plan. They always have to come with something. Obviously, listen, he had a plan and I had a plan and everything went out the way I wanted.
As for Morales, this guy's entertaining as hell, and people are gonna love watching him because he throws down. But he's not beating the elite just yet. He's not technical enough. In the end though, he took Brady's spot by hitting harder, which is honestly the most welterweight thing ever. Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. Look, Valentina won. She showed up, looked sharp, and reminded everyone that there's levels to this game. She's still one of the most technical fighters in the sport, male or female. Her striking is clean, her defense is tight, and she just outclassed Zhang for 5 rounds. No controversy, no debates. She won. But here's my issue, and maybe I'm greedy, but I wanted more. I wanted her to go for the finish. She had moments where Zhang was hurt, where she could have turned it up and put her away, but she just didn't. She stayed safe, stayed technical, and yeah, that wins round, but man, the killer instinct felt missing.
Oh, it was amazing fight. I was not thinking about how I want to finish it, something like that, but I knew for sure that I want to win this fight.
Maybe she's just being smart, preserving herself, not taking unnecessary risk. I get that, but part of me wanted to see her step on the gas and make a statement. Even so, Zhang was game. She always is, but she was just too small.
Young lady is someone who falls and she gets up and she never gives up.
Well, it was a valiant effort tonight. You are one of the greatest.
Every time she tried to get her offense going, Shevchenko was already 2 steps ahead. It was a clinic, but it was a calm clinic. Let me show you how this works kind of performance, not a let me end you performance. And maybe that's enough. Maybe Valentina is at the point in her career where she doesn't need to prove she can finish people. She just needs to win. But the fan in me wanted fireworks, and we got a technical masterclass instead. Still impressive, just not explosive. Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena. This was supposed to be the moment. Islam moving up, going for double champ status, facing a bigger striker with incredible takedown defense in JDM. The story was perfect.
Islam Makhachev has been bred for this moment, and he's been in these kind of big moments before. Remember, this is a super fight going down at Madison Square Garden, and this is Jack Della Maddalena's first title defense.
In reality though, I think I fell asleep a few times.
Makhachev just laying in half guard here. Makhachev still in half guard on top. Still in half guard on top. Another minute goes by of Makhachev in half guard on top.
Let me be clear. Islam won decisively and absolutely deserves to be in the GOAT conversation. What he's doing is historic, dominating lightweight, moving up a weight class, taking the belt from a bigger and dangerous opponent. That's legendary stuff. Do we all agree Islam's not higher on the GOAT list than Khabib? The resume just speaks for itself. The legacy is being cemented, but the fight itself was kind of boring. And a huge part of that is on Jack. His performance was shockingly poor. Like, where was the guy we've been watching destroy 18 guys in a row? The knockout artist, the pressure fighter, the dude who out-grappled Bilal Muhammad. JDM looked like he was waiting for something to happen instead of making it happen. And against a guy like Islam, you can't do that. You can't give him space to think, to set traps, to implement his game. You have to make it ugly, make it a fight, force him into chaos. Jack did none of that. Islam just controlled the pace, controlled the distance, and made it his kind of fight. He didn't have to work that hard because Jack let him cruise. There were moments where it looked like Jack wanted to explode, where you could see him thinking about letting his hands go.
No rule what we have seen.
Sad look off your face, all right? Put some hands on his gun. You ain't touched him yet.
But then he'd just stop, hesitate, and Islam would smother whatever momentum he was building. It was smart from Islam, absolutely, but it made for a fight that never really caught fire. The grappling exchanges were fine, but nothing crazy. Islam's top control is suffocating. We know that. But Jack wasn't giving him much to work with. There were no dramatic scrambles, no desperate submission attempts, no moments where you felt like someone was about to get finished. It was just Islam slowly, methodically taking rounds while Jack tried to figure out a puzzle he clearly didn't have the answer to. And that's the thing. Islam's probably the best in the world at making you look average. That's his superpower. He doesn't blow you out, he just makes you ineffective, makes you slow, and by the time you realize what's happening, you've already lost 3 rounds and the fight's basically over. That's exactly what happened to Jack. Islam has beaten everyone they've put in front of him since 2015 and has now the longest winning streak in UFC history, tied with Anderson Silva. The resume is there. The fight didn't add much to the highlight reel, but it added to the win column, it added to his legacy, and it welcomed him into GOAT conversation. And in the long run, that's really all that people remember. Islam has done everything you can ask a fighter to do. But this card, it's the perfect example of how the fights you're supposed to care about aren't always the ones that delivers. The knockouts that shook the division happened when casuals probably weren't even watching. Islam made history, but Dariush, Edwards, and Brady had their future rewritten in a matter of seconds. And somehow, those moments, the ones that weren't supposed to be the story, ended up being the story. That's UFC 322. History happened, just not where we were looking for it.